Good morning, all the student. I am Dr. S.V. Gosavi and my subject is botany. In this pandemic situation, we all face COVID-19 coronavirus, and I hope all you are safe in this situation. We stay at the home but not stop learning, and so that we are arrange the online lecture series, and that lecture series is beneficial to all of the student. For that purpose, this is our first lecture. In last year we studied about the plant physiology, and this year also the plant physiology, this subject is here. In SYBSc there are two subjects are there, but they are choice based credit system syllabus. This choice based credit system syllabus implemented from this academic year only. What is meant by choice based credit system? Choice based credit system is nothing but the credit system you earned throughout the year. Each and every activity having some credit there. For example, assignment, homework, then test. These each and every activity having some credits. In this also field trip is also there. That field trip is also having some credit, and you earn that credit not only for this year but also SY and TY, and completed your specific credit, and then you get the degree. Let us see the syllabus. First see the subject. In third semester compulsory subject is the botany. Botany having three subjects are there. First one is the BO 231, taxonomy of angiosperm and plant ecology. Second one is the BO 232, plant physiology, and third one is the practical based on above two subject. Fourth semester it is also compulsory. In third semester each course having the 2 credit. That means paper first having 2 credit, second having 2 credit, and third having 2 credit. Likewise semester 4 it is also compulsory course botany. Each course is of 2 credit. First course is BO241, plant anatomy and embryology, and second one is the BO242, plant biotechnology, and third is the BO243, practical based on above 2 subject. In this year third semester we having 2 subject, and out of these 2 subject I teach plant physiology. I think all of you learn plant physiology in first year also. Basic term of plant physiology like the diffusion, osmosis, these terms are well known to you. In this semester we also learn such type of the terms, things and processes. Our subject is plant physiology. What is meant by plant physiology? Plant physiology is nothing but the branch of botany which deals with the physiological processes performed by the plant. What do you mean by physiological processes? From seed germination to the death of the plant, there are various physiological processes are there, and in this plant physiology we study all these physiological processes. For example, photosynthesis, respiration, ascent of sap, nitrogen metabolism, seed germination, death of the plant. These all, from the birth of the plant to the death of the plant, each and every process is studied under the plant physiology, and that each process is known as the physiological process or metabolic process. And in this subject we learn all these physiological process. There are two credit are here. First one is the credit first, and credit first is of 4 chapter and credit second is of 3 chapter. Let us see one by one each chapter. First chapter is the introduction to plant physiology. It having 2 lectures, and in this chapter we learn the different definition of plant physiology, various scopes of the plant physiology, and application of plant physiology. Second chapter, absorption of the water. Water is the elixir of the life. What is meant by elixir of the life? Without water, none of the living things are live. So it is known as the elixir of the water. For each and every process we require water. For example, for seed germination, for growth, for photosynthesis, for respiration, each and every physiological process we require the water. So water is known as the elixir of the life. So water is required for growth of the plant, and that water is only present into the soil. So plant absorb the water through roots from the soil, and that process of absorption of water from the soil toward the uppermost part of the plant, that process is nothing but the absorption of water. In this chapter there are 3 lectures are there. First point is role of water in plant. As we talk that each process required the water, we must know about the various role of water in plant. For example, photosynthesis. In photosynthesis reaction, 2 most important compounds are nothing but the carbon dioxide and water. With the help of carbon dioxide and water, plant produces the carbohydrate. That means role of water in plant. That is the role of water in plant in photosynthesis, to production of the carbohydrate. And that carbohydrate, it is the main source of energy in living thing, like the in plant and also in the animal. Then we see the mechanism of water absorption with respect to crop plant. Water is absorbed by the plant, but which organ? From the roots. But when water is absorbed from the soil by the root, they are having some mechanism. They are having different mechanism, different mechanism, and in this topic we are learn that mechanism. Third one is the factor affecting rate of water absorption. When plant absorb the water, it is not directly absorbed by the water through the root, but they having some supporting point or supporting environmental factor, and that supporting environmental factor are the factor affecting rate of water absorption. They are important for water absorption as well as they affect the rate of water also. For example, temperature, availability of water into the soil, density of the water. These are some example of factor affecting rate of water absorption. Third chapter is ascent of sap. It requires 3 chapters. You heard about the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap is nothing but the absorption of water plus mineral nutrient which is present into the soil through the plant. That process is known as the ascent of sap. That means various mineral nutrient, it is present into the soil, they are mixed into the water, and that solution is absorbed by the plant. That solution is nothing but the sap, and that sap is absorbed by the plant in upward direction. That process is known as the ascent of sap. This chapter include Three parts. First one is the introduction and definition. Second one is the transpiration pool or cohesion tension theory, its evidences and objections. These are the mechanism. Transpiration pool, ascent of sap is done, but it is done by a process, it is done by a mechanism, and that mechanism is nothing but the transpiration pool, and that are studied in this chapter. Third one is the factor affecting ascent of sap. In the second chapter, absorption of water, there is also factor affecting rate of water absorption. In third chapter, this point is again, that is nothing but the factor affecting ascent of sap. Most of the factor, they are similar to that of the second chapter, like the temperature, wind velocity, water availability into soil, etc., etc. After that, fourth chapter is the transpiration. It requires 7 lectures and it is the important chapter in our syllabus. It gives 5 to 10 marks in the exam. So, learn it carefully. In this chapter, we learn the definition of transpiration. You must know the transpiration. What is meant by transpiration? Transpiration is nothing but the process in which plant release the water in the form of vapor through the leaf only. That process is known as the transpiration. Large amount of or huge amount of water are losses through the plant in a year. We learn about that in the chapter, but here different points are there. First one is the definition, second one is the types of transpiration. Transpiration takes place by the plant, but by the various organs like the cuticle, lenticule and stomata. As wise, there are 3 types: cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration. Transpiration takes place by that specific part is known as its types. Third one is the structure of stomata. Everybody knows stomata. It is a minute pore which is present at the lower side of the plant, lower side of the leaf of the plant, and that minute pore is nothing but the stomata. But there is a specific structure of the stomata and that structure are studied here. Fourth point is the mechanism of opening and closing of the stomata. This mechanism of opening and closing of the stomata again explained by 2 scientists. First one is the Stewart, and it is known as that mechanism is known as the Stewart hypothesis, and second hypothesis is the active K plus transport mechanism. These 2 mechanisms explains us the opening and closing of the stomata. It is very simple. This all syllabus is a simple syllabus. If you learn for one time only, you can know about all the things of the plant physiology. So concentrate and repeat the different part of the syllabus, so you can learn very easily this syllabus. Fourth point is the factor affecting the rate of transpiration. In the second chapter, there is this point, factor affecting. In third is also repeating factor affecting, and in this transpiration also factor affecting in the rate of transpiration. In annual exam, out of these 3, one question is compulsory: factor affecting rate of transpiration, or factor affecting ascent of sap, or factor affecting absorption of water. Fourth point is the significance of transpiration. Why transpiration is necessary? One word is there or one line is there in the chapter. The transpiration is a necessary evil. What is meant by evil? Evil is a bad factor, and transpiration is a bad factor, but it is a significant bad factor. It is the necessary evil. And what is necessary evil called by transpiration? It is learned in the chapter. Next one is the anti-transparent. Transpiration, loss of water in vapor form through the minute pore of the leaf, that is known as transpiration. And when some factor reduce that rate of transpiration, that factor are known as the, or that process is known as the anti-transparents. Next one, the guttation. Very interesting thing in the plant physiology. Each and every person knows about the guttation, but they does not tell about the guttation. I know that you must know, or you know the guttation process. In the winter season or in the rainy season, early in the morning before 7:30, when we see on the leaf of various grasses in the field, on that leaf, on the tip of the leaf, there is small water drop is allow there. So a small water drop is found on the leaf, and that water drop is nothing but the process of guttation, or that water drop is known as the gutted water. Loss of water through uninjured part of the plant is known as the gutted water. And last one is the exudation. As we know, loss of water through uninjured part, that is known as the guttation. Opposite of that, loss of water through injured part of the plant, that is known as the exudation. These are learned in this chapter. 7 lectures are there. This is about the first credit. And second credit, that having the three chapter, out of which first one is the nitrogen metabolism. Nitrogen metabolism, and it having 7 lecture. What is meant by nitrogen metabolism? As nitrogen is an important element for the entire living organism, and we all knows that in the environment there are about the 78% of nitrogen is there. Very large amount, 78% of nitrogen. How much amount of oxygen is there? Oxygen is only 21% oxygen is present into the atmosphere. And what about the CO2? CO2 is in very negligible amount, and that is the 0.01% carbon dioxide is present into the atmosphere, but till it is harmful to us. And this nitrogen 78%, but till plant does not directly absorb that nitrogen directly through the air. Where it is present? Nitrogen is present into the air, but it is not directly present or absorbed by the plant. First it is converted into the simple form, and that process of converting nitrogen into the simple form, that is conducted only by some microorganisms only. And that microorganism is nothing but the rhizobium, blue-green algae, and some bacteria. Third point is symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Symbiotic means not harmful. There is association of, for example, rhizobium or BGA and plant. They are friendly to each other, hence known as the symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Nitrogenous enzyme, structure and function. Next point is the fourth point, non-symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Here no help with each other. In this case, some bacteria, they are work with the root of the plant, but they are harmful to the plant. or in some cases in the soil some bacteria are there and they non-symbiotically fix the nitrogen which is present into the atmosphere. Next point is the importance and production technique of the BGA. As we know, nitrogen fixation is very important because plants various parts they are made up from the nitrogen only, and for that purpose nitrogen is essential for plants growth. As we heard about the urea, in urea there are 3 components are there, and out of that 3 component nitrogen is the essential component. On the urea there is written by the NPK, nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. These 3 major component is there, and out of which nitrogen is the most important because they are the major component and essential for growth of the plant. And so for fixing nitrogen we must know about the importance and production technique of BGA, blue-green algae, because blue-green algae fixes the atmospheric nitrogen. Next point is the denitrification. When nitrogen fixes by the bacteria or algae, again that fixed nitrogen is released into the atmosphere, and that process is known as the denitrification. Next one is the ammonification, convert the nitrogen into the ammonia or nitrate, that is known as the ammonification and nitrification. Next one is the reductive amination and transamination. These are the 2 most important things in the nitrogen metabolism chapter. We must learn it in the chapter. 6th chapter is nothing but the seed dormancy and germination. Seed is nothing but the reproductive organ, and that reproductive organ produces a whole plant. When the seed germinate, when they get the suitable necessary condition for germination. If that suitable condition are not there, that seed cannot be germinate, if even all the favorable condition are there. So that process is known as the germination, and in opposite of that is nothing but the seed dormancy. That means the process in which the condition of when it fails to germinate, even through favorable environmental condition are there. In some cases the seed, we sow the seed, various favorable environmental factor is there, we giving watering to the seed, but then and then also seed cannot be germinate. That process is known as the dormancy. That seed goes under the dormancy, but it is not died. When next season is there, when again favorable condition is there, in next season that seed is germinate, and that is known as the breaking of the dormancy. In this there are the different points are there. First one is the definition, types of seed dormancy and germination. Next point is the method of break seed dormancy. There are the different methods are there. For example, scratching method. Seeds are scratched by the sand or sandpaper and allow the various gases and water into the seed up to the embryo. That process is known as the that is the method of breaking seed dormancy. Next one is the metabolic changes during seed dormancy. There are the different metabolic changes from the seed germinate to grows into a small seedling. We must learn these all things. Next point is the role of phytohormone to improve seed germination. Phyto, plants, hormones, some chemical substance which enhance the process of germination, that is known as the phytohormones. That phytohormone hormones, when we apply on the seed, it increases the percentage of seed germination. That is known as the photohormones. And last one is the Vigor index. Here is the definition of Vigor index are studied in this point. And next point is the physiology of flowering. As we all know that in angiosperm, flower is only the reproductive part of the plant, and in that reproductive part there are 4 main parts are there: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Androecium is nothing but the male reproductive part, and gynoecium, it is the female reproductive part. Here in these 2 parts fertilization can be takes place, and after fertilization that flower is converted into the fruit, and that fruit having the seed. So that process of production of flower from the production of a small bud to produces a flower or to produces a seed, that whole process is included in this chapter, and the name of the chapter is the physiology of flowering. It requires 4 lectures. In this chapter there are 4 points is there. First one is the photoperiodism, its concept, definition, short day plant, long day plant and day neutral plant. Here photon means light and periodism is period. Photon, light, periodism, period. And on this light period there are 3 types of plants. Short day plant which flowering in short day condition, that means low light condition. Low light means it having the light period less than 12 hours, that is known as the short day plant, and that short day plants are occurred into the winter season only. Long day plant in summer season, because plant gets the light more than 12 or 14 hours, hence they are known as the long day plant. And day neutral, it is in between the short day and long day plant. They are learned in this chapter. Next part is the phytochrome theory, role of phytochromes in the induction and inhibition of the flowering. Phyto, plant, and again chrome means the color. Sunlight having the different color. As we know, visible light having the colors or various range of the color from red to the violet, and these are known as the chroma. And in a specific chroma or in a specific color, the productivity of the or induction of the flower, it is better, and it is studied in this part. Next one is the application of photoperiodism, and last point is the vernalization. Vernalization, in a 2 or 3 word it is simple that vernalization is nothing but the chilling treatment. Chilling means to reduce the temperature, that is known as the chilling, and that chilling treatment are given to the seeds before sowing, and that process is known as the vernalization. We learn about the concept, definition, mechanism of vernalization, application of vernalization and devernalization process. In this way you having credits, this credit system having 50 mark, out of that 35 mark for theory examination and 15 mark for internal plus credit. What is mean by internal and credit? Out of that 15 mark, 10 mark for your internal examination and 5 marks for your assignment, homework or other things which is given in the class, and you submit it at the time or at the proper time or given time. If you submit all the assignment, all the homework, all the questionnaire in a proper time, then and only you get that 5 marks. So this is the credit system, and in this credit system you earn 4 credit for one subject, 2 for one part and 2 for second part. Before concluding this slide, this is the syllabus of our second year plant physiology, and I put it on the Google Classroom also. Please write all the syllabus of plant physiology in your physiology notebook, and after that you read it properly. In next lecture, in tomorrow's lecture, we are starting the first chapter, and that first chapter is nothing but the introduction to the plant physiology. It is a simple chapter, only 2 lecture chapter, but important. In this chapter we learn about the various scope, definition of plant physiology, scope and application of plant physiology. So take care, don't go anywhere, keep studying and stay safe. Thank you.